We first had materialism, where people were only involved in materialistic things which their senses could perceive. Right, so there we had the river gods and the mountain gods and the tree gods and things like that, primitive man. And then as man progressed further, you had psycho-materialism, where they found, which of course ancient seers knew all the time, that the mind is just but a continuum of the physical gross body, and the mind is also a body which is more subtle. And the next step would be the spiritual side of materialism, and that is what I teach about. If you can come to realize that even materialism, what you call materialism, I call spiritualism. What you call spiritualism, I call materialism, because I find no difference there at all. So that is a matter of realization, and that's the next step for humanity, where they will find that everything is spiritual. If divinity is omnipresent, then everything has to be spiritual, everything has to be divine. Then no differentiation would exist at all. You'll worship this piece of wood there, knowing that the molecular structures I've said before is the same as the molecular structures in you. So differentiation says is to find that oneness. Now I do not say that this will come about overnight for all people. It has never been so, but there is a greater and greater majority of people, more so today, that are led on to the spiritual path to find that spiritual materialism. Yes, because in the modern age, people have gone so far out in materialism that they've reached a wall, and now they're turning more and more inward. They're trying to go more and more beyond the machinations of the human mind and find, and they know instinctively perhaps that there's something very far beyond than all that we see. Because our sight and our senses are limited only to things that are tangible. There is a force, there is a power that is not tangible to the senses, but realizable, and that is the transformation which comes about in true seekers, that has that inkling like you all that there's something beyond the material value of life. And the more one realizes that, the more it starts permeating one's self, and everything you do becomes spiritual. So that is how the world would find a certain amount of progress. It has been very slow in the past ages. At the time of Krishna and Buddha and Christ and all those guys, it has been very slow. But with the expansion of the human mind, developing a greater intelligence, and we could see it today, how it has developed more its intellectual faculties, that they could very, very easily slip into the realm of spirituality and regard even all materiality to be spiritual. And then there's just the expression left, and the expression is always in the form of love. That indefinable thing which is called love. The electromagnetism that flows between two people, that requires no explanation. Yeah, people have a habit of saying, it's a good habit, it's a good affirmation. Say, I love you, and man says, I love you too, my darling. A verbal expression, okay, and sometimes the verbal expressions are very empty. But just to look, just to glance, can convey so much more of that feeling that wells up within you. And the electromagnetism or the chemical reaction that is produced can never be produced by words alone. You must have no familiarity with your sanskaras. The less you know of them, the better. If you have a sore festering on your foot, the less you ignore it, the more you ignore it, the better it is. But it's still keeping on the balm of positivity to rid of the sore on your foot. Because man could never unfathom or fathom the depth of your sanskaras. They are gathered there through millions and millions of years, billions of years, in the process of evolution of which you are the final product today up to now. So the less we know of them, the better. But we can see them in our active life, our activity in life, how we treat things or the attitudes we have on things, why one likes strawberry jam and the other likes apricot jam, type of thing. And so, as it exhibits itself, the more do we try to know what makes me like strawberry jam. So it would only be the outer expression of those sanskaras that could make us think about altering our habit styles, and the sanskaras which in the first place make us do certain things will automatically disappear and evaporate. Like we always say, if the room is dark, we don't try and analyze the darkness. It's because sanskaras, are in the nether field, they are dark. The room is dark, we put on the light, we don't analyze darkness. So what is dark? There's no such thing as darkness. As far as the spiritual self is concerned, there's no darkness. The only thing is let the flood of the light of spirituality overcome that which is dark forces or negative energies that are there. But primarily, positive energies and negative energies have that affinity. They are the same because all opposites are true. It's just a different way of using them. So there is no, in reality there's no darkness. Everything is light. It is only when we pull the veils across our minds, we close the curtains for the light to come, for the light not to come through, that we find the room to be dark. But if we, through spiritual practices, open the curtains, the light will shine through in its full splendor. So the light is there. And darkness is an illusion produced by the absence of light. And yet, what happens to the darkness? It does not disappear. It is just